what's going on, y'all? It's Will, and I'm back again. And today I am going to do another binge, and this time it's going to be Along the River of Flesh by Christopher Triana. Look at that book right there. So this will be my second book that I read by Christopher Triana. And the first book was Gone to See the Riverman. And just let me tell you, that book was absolutely crazy. Talking about disturbing. The main character is a piece of shit. I just got to keep it true. Yeah, she's a piece of work. She is a person that was infatuated with criminals. There's actually studies have shown that people are like that in real life. But anyways, I talked about Gone to See the Riverman, a bunch of times in my videos, so I'm not going to talk about that book anymore. It's time for the sequel, Along the River of Flesh. So I'm going to attempt to read this. It's not a big book, but stuff happens and my attention span is bad. So I'm going to try to binge this book, y'all, and I'm going to let you know how I feel about this book. And before I go on to this book, make sure you guys check out Gone to See the Riverman. Not a lot of people are talking about that book. It is disturbing, but you guys will be all right. You guys are big boys and big girls. But, y'all, I'll get back with you once I get done with this book by Christopher Triana, Along the River of Flesh. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, y'all? So, just checking back with y'all. I'm a third of the way through Along the River of Flesh, and so far, I'm digging it. It got my interest. The only thing that I call bullshit on a little bit is you got a prisoner who just escaped a big riot that's nationally televised, and he most likely is going to go back to his hometown, and you have no police looking for him right now except for a private investigator and one detective. Come on, I don't buy that, but sometimes you gotta do things to move the plot along, so I'm gonna let it slide, but whatever. But so far, y'all, it's pretty good, so I'll check back in halfway through and let y'all know how I feel. Also, another thing, so far this book is less disturbing, but it's still kind of gory than the first book, Gone to See the Riverman. So far, there's a few little things that are pretty gory, that the book describes, but yeah, so I need some coffee. I'm getting tired, y'all. So just to give a quick update of what I'm reading. So we have a prisoner who escaped from prison. His name is Edmund, and he was the antagonist of the previous book, Gone to See the Riverman. And he is a serial killer who pretty much just kills Asian women. And there's a reason why he chooses Asian women, because his uncle is screwed up from the Vietnam War, and he taught his nephew and showed some of the gory pictures from the Vietnam War about, what happened over there. So it's just a quick reason why he targets Asians. His uncle was very twisted and sick, but he targets Asian women, and he cuts them up, mutilates them, and does different things to them. I don't want to describe because it's not YouTube friendly, but he takes pieces of them, and this time in the sequel right here that I'm reading, he continues to do it, after he escaped from prison, going back to his old town in Killeen. I don't know if this is Killeen, Texas, but they just say Killeen. They don't really say the state, but somewhere in the South. But yeah, he starts off, encountering a male and a female in the woods, and this poor couple, the guy was about to propose to her, but here comes Edmund ruining everything. But yeah, it doesn't end well for them. So that's how it starts out, but I'm not going to tell you too much, but I'll check back with you later. Y'all, this book is getting good. So the main antagonist of this book, Edmund, has made it back to his cabin, and his cabin is basically like, I don't know if you guys ever seen, what was it? The movie Evil Dead. Just imagine Evil Dead, the cabin, with a bunch of doors and trap doors in it. So this cabin is something else because it has a bunch of cadavers from his old victims, and it's pretty gruesome, y'all. Some of the stories that he tells about his victims and whatnot, it's crazy, y'all. Man. Yeah, so I'm halfway through this book, and this book is probably more disturbing than the first book. I got my hands covering the book right now for a reason. I don't want y'all to read some stuff that I just read. Not to spoil it, but it's pretty gruesome, y'all. I'd say more than gruesome. It's disturbing. All right, y'all. It's time to do a little wrap up on this book I just finished, Along the River of Flesh. So, y'all, this book was good. I mean, the ending alone just had me saying, oh my God, like, it was crazy and also very disturbing. But let me go ahead and talk about this book a little bit. First, this book is not going to be for a lot of people, because if you are sensitive to trigger warnings, this book has plenty of them that I can't even say on YouTube. But this book is more disturbing than the first one, the Gone to See the Riverman. That was the first book, and this is a sequel. But this book has three main protagonists. In the start of the book, it's Gary, the private eye, Keith, the cop, and June, the young female that's a homeless runaway. Each these individuals, have a troubled past that brings them together. You got Gary, who's a mournful widower, and he's seeking some kind of validation, for his life. And Keith, he's a cop that's single and very shady. And lastly, you got June. She's looking for Edmund. Nobody knows why, but she's a runaway. But she came back. She was She was born in the same place Edmund was from, the main antagonist of the book. So she's come back to find him, and we got to find out why. When all the three main protagonists meet and they get on a boat and go on the so-called river of flesh in this town in the woods of Killeen, they each start, having dreams and tripping out. It's the river doing it to them. It's messing up their mind. It's like they're on like LSD or something. But that's when the book to me started getting a little crazy, because it just starts describing crazy things that they go through, and when you're reading it, it's kind of hard to read because it seems like you're on LSD trying to read it. While they're on the boat, they just go into dark places and they relive their dreams and nightmares, and some of their dreams are darker than others. Like, it gets really dark, y'all. And we got our main antagonist, Edmund, the serial killer. This guy's a piece of work, man. Some of the things that is in his cabin in the woods when people discover it is crazy, y'all. I'm just gonna leave it at that. The location they're in is Killeen. It's a city in the south, so they don't really tell us what state it's in. So it's either Texas or Georgia, but it's not really described in the detail. Another thing about the people who live in Killeen, this mysterious town, they don't like outsiders or the police. So that's kind of why Edmund gets away with a lot of stuff he does, because the woods are something else. Cops go in the woods and look for people. They just get lost because, man, just the woods are crazy, y'all. That's all I got to say. It's also dangerous. But inside the woods also lives a few families that are pretty much inbreds. And yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that. But y'all, this book, I do recommend if you are not sensitive to trigger warnings. I give this book a 4 out of 5, y'all. This is a good read. This was a good sequel to Going to See the Riverman. This book, Along the River of Flesh, is good, y'all. That's all I got. Peace.
Ayy, I got the recipe, never gonna let any op get the best of me. Thought it was distance, but haters is next to me. Talk to the spirit, I've been heavenly. Company definitely show your trajectory. This ain't a diss, cause I say